Hello, my friends. Good evening. How are you? Welcome to another edition of Wednesday Night Live with me, Mike Avery. Mad Jack wants to know more about Amy Trotter, as will several people on here tonight. Paul, good evening. Larry, Mike, indeed, Linda, Tommy, Renee, saw you this morning for the first time. Thank you so much for joining me on this edition of joining us, because this isn't just me. There's a lot of our friends here tonight. So we appreciate you being along with us. Dave, Jim, I will see you in West Branch 3 weeks from tonight. Cliff, good evening, buddy. Jim, hello, Eric. How are you? Jeff, good evening to you as well on a rainy, cool, fall-like September evening. A good night to be sitting inside or wherever you are on your phone, your laptop, your iPad, your computer, and just kind of shoot the breeze as we talk about the history and tradition of the outdoor lifestyle here in the great state of Michigan. TJ, good evening, buddy. How are you? Now, tomorrow night, we would not be able to do this, although I wouldn't have scheduled it for tomorrow. I have an interesting opportunity to take a group of scouts out. I don't know if they're Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts, on a little fishing adventure in a local pond here to help them get their merit badge for fishing. My grandson Trent is actually going to go along with me to help out because he has fished this pond before, and I think it'll be a good experience for him, for the scouts, and for me as well. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Drew Youngdyke, Amy is as dedicated a conservationist as it gets. Drew would know. Drew worked for Amy at MUCC. He was their CIO, their Chief Information Officer. Drew, nice to have you along with us, buddy. Always a pleasure. Jim says, yes, we will be here 3 weeks from tonight. And again, where are we going to be 3 weeks from tonight? We're going to be right there. Wednesday Night Live on the 24th at the LumberJack Restaurant in West Branch. Special guests for this, Lance Valentine of the Walleye Zone and Andrew Cumtis of Outdoor Driven. Chris Durson of I of Rapid River will be meeting with Andrew to give him a check for the first installment of the Mike Avery signature knife. This is a prototype version. This is mine. We're selling these. I talked to Chris this morning on the radio show. We're selling a lot of these, and we should have a pretty substantial check to give to Andrew at Wednesday Night Live 3 weeks from tonight. Call 989-343-0892 for reservations. Craig Plowman will be there. Looks like Tony will be there, along with Randy. Tony? Excellent. I'll look forward to seeing you guys there, as well as Michelle. Hey, Michelle, happy belated birthday to you. I thought it was really nice of your husband to take you out on a boat ride at 2.5 miles an hour so you could catch that beautiful walleye. Nice fish. Jim, good evening. It seems like fall has arrived, doesn't it? Ed Bolanowski, always a pleasure, my friend. John, thank you for your help today. Lori, haven't talked to you in a while. How have you been? Michael, always a pleasure. Tom, good evening. Thank you for that, Bill. I appreciate you saying that. Tony will be there along with Randy. You needed the rain today for your food plots. Yeah, hey, Brent, good evening, buddy. And Brent, I look forward to seeing you and Tracy and the boys at Wednesday Night Live. We still have still have openings, but I wouldn't waste a lot of time. Again, here's the flyer on this. I like the way Emil put this. Arrival at 6, live at 7. Call for reservations 989-343-0892. 989-343-0892. I'm going to put this up several more times tonight. You see that knife right there? We are going to give away, not this one, because this one is mine, but at Wednesday Night Live, we are going to give away a production version of this knife, and we're also giving away a truck trolley and hopefully some other goodies as well. Who else is with us tonight? Lisa says, hello, Mike. MUCC news is alarming. It's disappointing. I know that for a fact. And I will talk more about this here in a few minutes, but just know that there's not much I can say. If you were to make the assumption that I probably know more than what I can say, that would be a reasonable assumption. I can't say very much. Basically, all I can say is what I've said already, that I'm disappointed, and I wish both parties, Amy Trotter and MUCC, luck. I hope to continue to work with MUCC. John, always a pleasure. John, a guy I've known since his days at the CMU Bass Fishing Club, where he was president, he reached out to me. He said, "Would you sponsor our club?" And I said, "Yes, I will be happy to." And several others, including Nick Grillo of Michigan Brand Meats. Now, John is working at Jay's in their marketing department. And little known fact here, he is the official timer for the buzzers for Wednesday Night Live. Brent, I'm looking forward to it as well. Bill, loved your emotions on your bear hunt. Love you sharing your story. Bill, I appreciate that. I wish the emotion I could have shared would have been one of elation and joy. Didn't work out. But because I'm so darned public and because I made such a big deal publicly ahead of time, I owe it to you and the listeners of the radio show to be very public on the outcome of the hunt, even though it wasn't a positive outcome. Dan, good evening. All right, Paul, I will look forward to that. Yes, I do know your drive. Steve had a fabulous week in White River with Ron. We went 2 for 3 on Nice Bears. Thanks for the recommendation. Steve, it's my pleasure. Ron St. Louis, who is oftentimes on here, in fact, he was on this morning. Ron St. Louis of Northern Wilderness Bear Outfitters is a stand-up guy. As you now know, Steve, I've been up there hunting for the last several years. He is my guy in Ontario. I can't say enough about him. Hardworking guy. If anybody's looking for an Ontario bear hunting adventure, I will recommend Ron St. Louis. John, like the segment with Tom a couple of weeks ago. He seems like he really likes what he was doing. If I remember right, John, I think it was you who said, "Hey, I really love the conversations with Tom. When are you going to have him on again?" And he was on that weekend. Jim, I don't know Jim. Jim is intimately involved, Jim Price, with MUCC for many, many years. I don't know if you are currently on the board or not, Jim. But I know that you are a player in that organization. He says, "Evening, Mike. Not a good evening with the news about Amy." So I'm assuming you're not on the board, or you would have known that. But I agree with you, Jim. Gene, good evening, buddy. How are things over at Apex? Oh, TJ. You know, TJ, for some reason, I'm thinking you were a northern guy, but you were up north to propose to your fiance. Now I remember that. TJ found his first 2 dead deer from EHD here in Jackson. Now, TJ, had you reported those to the DNR, and were those included in the DNR's news release? I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw EHD. I believe EHD is a bigger threat than CWD because EHD is immediate. Oh, Mark, I'm so excited for you. Good evening. Going on your first bear hunt in the UP the second week in September. You're going to have I got goosebumps for you right now. I really do. You are going to have so much fun. Mark, I'm telling you, for most hunters, and not all, okay, it's not universal. Some people do it and just don't fall in love with it. Like my son James did it. He enjoyed it, but he didn't become addicted. I'm predicting there's a good chance you will become addicted. First time you're sitting there at that bait and a bear walks in and you see it, it's like, oh my gosh. Your heart's going to beat out of your chest more than a whitetail could ever do, and you're going to be addicted. Good luck to you, and have fun. Chris, good evening, buddy. How are you? Linda Barthel. A first for me, went jigging for salmon this weekend in Manistee with an absolute blast. I have not done it, Linda, but it looks like an absolute blast. Lance Valentine, Sir Lancelot of the Walleye Zone. Lance is on the radio show this week. I will talk more about that. And as a reminder, Lance Valentine is one of our special guests at this event, Wednesday Night Live at the LumberJack Restaurant in West Branch, 3 weeks from tonight. If you would like a chance to meet Lance and talk with him in person, because he's a great guy, very personable guy, and he loves to talk. And I say that in a positive sense. He loves to talk with people. If you don't have reservations, call when we get done here tonight, 989-343-0892, 989-343-0892. Lance, always a pleasure. Thanks again for having me on Coffee Hour last week. Chris Craner, I'm going to be swinging by the Woods and Water show this weekend. I am, Chris. I will be there Saturday. Normally, I like to go on Friday. However, this Friday, I will be in West Branch at the Forward Corporation facility there, exit 212, just off I-75, to help celebrate their 100th anniversary. 100 years in business in Michigan, family owned. That is a lot to celebrate. So I will be there Friday, and I will go to the Woods and Water show on Saturday. For me, it's just a swing through. I go through to say hi to people, maybe grab a brat, and head on home. David, good evening, buddy. How are you? Robert Cahoon bought one of the Mike Avery knives. It's a great knife. Thank you, Robert. I appreciate that, and thank you for your support of Outdoor Driven. We will be giving Andrew Comtus of Outdoor Driven his first check on Saturday, September 20th at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clear. Randy Iamurray, who is still, he's a hardcore, Randy's hardcore. I mean, he's still out there fishing. Well, as is Lance Valentine and Craig Plowman and a lot of others. Carl, good evening, buddy. Chris, great day except having to go to the doctor. I hope everything's okay, Chris. John, thank you. Jay's is the best people I've worked for. Absolutely enjoy marketing a store. I've shopped since I was very... That says a lot. You shopped there with a kid when you were a kid with your dad, and now you're working there. And John, I'm sure, I suspect you know this. During that anniversary weekend, late morning, I will be at the store along with Chris Durson of Rapid River and Andrew Comtus of Jay's. I'm going to have one of those big fake checks made up. I don't know where to do that yet, but I'll figure it out. And we're going to present that along with a real check to Andrew for his first installment for proceeds from this Mike Avery knife. Brian, good evening. How are you? That's what I thought, John. Oh my gosh. Pastor, you would make my night if you are there, Pastor. You would make my night. I pray that you can make it as well. That would be wonderful. Mickey, good evening. Ed says, while I'm watching you, notifications keep popping up with deer pics from the woods. I would probably be thinking that I don't want to watch Avery anymore. I'm just going to watch the trail camera pictures. Scott Hand, great advice. Anybody with EHD problems, try Aqua Shield from Killer Food Plots. Now, I think I asked you this question last week, Scott, if this will become effective, if it will be effective immediately, and you said yes. What Aqua Shield does is it treats your water. It treats your standing water, your ponds, your stagnant water, your standing water, your swamps, your flooded fields, whatever. And it helps control mosquito larvae and midge flies. And midge flies are, of course, what causes EHD. So, in fact, even if you don't have a problem, it's not a bad practice at all. In fact, I'm going to say it's a good practice to treat your water with Aqua Shield. I think it's a good idea. KillerFoodPlots.com. Rich and Ellie Krazan of Killer Food Plots will be joining us for Wednesday Night Live in West Branch. This event right here, call 989-343-0892 for reservations. Uncle Johnny, how are you, my brother? Always a pleasure. We played 18 holes of golf with Uncle Johnny and Aunt Debbie on Monday. Our scores didn't reflect a good day, but we had a good day, and we all had some really nice shots and some really bad shots, but it was a lot of fun. Johnny, always a pleasure, buddy. John Miller, good evening. How are you? John, I can't tell from the picture, John. Are you the John that I was talking to at Chris's party, John? Bernie, good evening. Chris, have you had a chance to look up that info about why we have CWD? I'm sorry, Chris, I have not. TJ, yes, I did report it to him, but it was after they had the press release already out. Johnny Bowler, good wet evening to you, buddy. Derek, good evening. Joe, good to hear. Do I remember Arthur Dittmeyer, who used to be with MUCC back in the day? No. I go back to the previous director, who then went on to become DNR director. The one before him, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to remember her name. I worked with her as well. The one who really stands out is a guy who ran MUCC with an iron fist for many, many years. Drew or somebody else will help me out here with the names. But no, Arthur Dittmeyer, I do not recognize that name. Joe, good evening. How are you? Lance says he can't wait. Chris Craner's going to be there? Oh, Chris is going to be at Woods and Water. All right, Chris, I'll look forward to that. Joe is hunting with the Bear Whisperer second week as well. You guys have so much fun. I mean, I hope you shoot bears, and I think there's a very good chance you will shoot a bear. But let me just tell you, my advice to you is embrace the experience, because obviously we don't get to hunt bears in Michigan every year like we do deer. So it's very, very special. So embrace the experience, soak it all in. Bears, wolves, martens, whatever you see up there, ravens, just soak it all in and embrace it and have fun. James, good evening. Lori says we have a Brian watch party from his pheasant hunt in South Dakota on Saturday. Excellent. Randy, where is the Woods and Water show at? Thank you, Randy, for asking this. This is the single biggest outdoor show in Michigan for the entire year. Oh, absolutely, by far. It is at the Eastern Michigan Fairgrounds in Imlay City. The show runs Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know what that means, Lori. Amazon has the checks. Larry at Rabbit Homesteading says his knife will be here Friday. Thank you. No, Larry, thank you. I have 2 more of these knives on order. This prototype is my knife. I have a knife that I'm holding for Brent Pinter, Brent James, my buddy. I have a knife ordered for my grandson Trent, and I have a knife ordered for the Wednesday Night Live event where we're going to give it away. No, I'm not involved. Board of Directors. Permanent. I gotcha. Well, you know what? You're involved in a higher calling anyway, Jim. God bless you for that. Mike, what's going on with EHD? I've heard some deer have been showing up. Have you heard anything? Yes, the DNR put out a news release the other day that their first cases of EHD have been found in southern Michigan. TJ's on here, said he's found a dead deer that he reported that were not included in that. So yes, we have an outbreak of EHD in the southern part of the state. And I'll tell you right now, I am more concerned about EHD than I am CWD, just in general, because EHD is more immediate. As Scott Hand pointed out, there is, I don't want to say there's a cure for EHD, but there is a way to help prevent EHD, and it is a product by Michigan-based family-owned Killer Food Plots. It's called Aqua Shield. In fact, I'm going to ask Rich if he will bring some Aqua Shield with him to the Wednesday Night Live event. Matt, you and Rachel should try to join us for a Wednesday Night Live. Kevin Hannes will be there. I'm looking forward to it, Kevin. Salmon fishing and deer hunting soon. Excellent. Matt, sounds like you will be there. Art Lewis, WSGW. I am on the air with Art tomorrow morning at 9. We will take your calls. Always a pleasure. Art, one of the things I'd like to discuss tomorrow, and I would ask if you don't mind that you hold off talking about this till I come on with you, is the fact that MUCC Executive Director Amy Trotter is no longer with MUCC. I can't talk in detail about it, but I would like to talk about it because it's big news. And Art, I always look forward to talking with you because, as I've told you before, you are an absolute master when it comes to conversation. There's nobody better. I will, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, I'm on WSGW AM and FM with Art Lewis, the man himself. Kirk, good evening. How are you? Scott said he would be more than happy to talk with anyone about Aqua Shield and its benefits. So feel free to reach out to Scott directly. Scott, why don't you join us at Wednesday Night Live? Jason, good evening, brother. How are you? Thank you, Drew. Aaron McDonough. And then there was Tom Washington, who just ruled MUCC with an iron fist. It was not you, John. And glad to have you along with, and Dan Eichinger. Thank you. Bernie, why did Amy Trotter leave MUCC? Bernie, nobody is saying. The only official word that is out there right now, honestly, came through me. Nobody else was talking about this yet. And the only thing that is official is that MUCC has confirmed that Amy Trotter is no longer with MUCC. I also reached out to Amy because I consider her a personal friend. And I said, Amy, is it true that you are no longer with MUCC? And she said, yes. No other details are known. I know a few things because I know a few people, and it didn't come from MUCC. So I've got a little bit of an idea, kind of what is happening. Not enough to talk about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it anyway. And I wouldn't do it because it's not my place. But I consider this a blow to conservation, and I got to be honest, MUCC. I have much support for, much respect for MUCC and much support for MUCC. As you know, look at the fundraisers I've been involved with those folks. And then Amy, we've had her here on Wednesday Night Live, and I sing her praises whenever she's on here. I think she's a force to be reckoned with. So something happened there. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's anybody's business what it was. I don't really think it'll ever become known public what the reasoning was. But I'm disappointed. And in fact, I've used the term heartbroken. I thought MUCC with Amy Trotter at the helm, with Justin Tomei as a policy guy, with Steve Wyndham as a membership guy, with Tyler Mihai as a PR guy, and the rest of the small staff there at MUCC, I thought they were. And in fact, I told Amy this when we were in West Branch for the golf outing. I said, Amy, from the outside, it looks like you have the perfect combination of people in the perfect place at the perfect time. So I'm disappointed. Having said that, Amy Trotter will always have my support wherever she goes. I will wish her the best, and you can bet she is going to be a success wherever she goes, whatever she does, because she is just a wonderful, remarkable, outstanding, passionate, caring person. And I will continue to support MUCC and work with MUCC if they want me. Now, for all I know, a new director could come in and say, Avery, we don't want to work with you anymore. And there would be nothing I could do about it. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't think it'll happen. It is my intent to continue to work with MUCC and do whatever I can to help them promote the cause and continue to fight for conservation in hunting and fishing and shooting and trapping. It's unfortunate what happened. I don't know what happened. I can't talk about anything, even if I did know it. So what does that tell you? But it's sucks. Sucks all the way around for everybody. Dean, good evening. How are you? And you're getting lots of, well, yeah, they're telling you you're eating and drinking too much. Mickey, anyone I have in mind to take Amy's place? I can't think of anybody that I know of that could take Amy's place. And that's the honest truth. And they're not going to ask me because it's not my role. It's the board of directors' role. But that's a very good question, Mickey. If somebody says, Avery, who do you think should be Amy Trotter's replacement? Her role will be filled by somebody else, but to replace Amy Trotter, there's nobody I know of that can do it. Not to the extent she's done it with the passion she's done it, and the knowledge and the connections and the commitment. Mike, we will see you in West Branch on the 24th. For those, I got you. For those who don't have your reservations, call 989-343-0892 for those reservations. The big check you want. Got it. Jim says Art Dittmer was a director in Old District 1 of MUCC. I got you, Lori. Thank you. I appreciate that. But I think there's a source right here in town. But if I strike out, I will reach out to you. Eric, good evening. She will. Emil Rousseau. Emil, of course, with the LumberJack Restaurant in West Branch. Emil put this flyer together. Again, for Wednesday Night Live, 3 weeks from tonight, call 989-343-0892 for reservations. Emil knows Amy from our golf outing there the last 2 years. He said, I hope Amy lands in another leadership role for outdoor enthusiasts. She will. She will. She's too valuable for somebody not to snatch her up and put her in a position of leadership in the world of conservation here in Michigan, or maybe outside of Michigan, maybe a national role. I don't know. I'm just thinking. Mike, do I need tickets ahead of time for the Woods and Water Show, or can I purchase them at the door? Another good question. No, you can. I don't think you can even get tickets ahead of time. Parking is free, and you get your ticket. You pay your entrance fee as you walk through the turnstile. So no, Mike, just show up, park your vehicle, and walk in and pay them as you are walking in. Joe, doing well, Captain. Rained out today. Decided to work on a new patio, but it was Wednesday Night Live time. My heart breaks over Amy News. I don't like it. Nobody does, Joe. Nobody does. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. Nobody likes it. But again, having said that, I still support MUCC. My support for MUCC goes beyond Amy Trotter. My support for MUCC goes to the organization and what they do and the other people there. There's still really good people at MUCC. Amy was their leader, but there's still good people at MUCC. And I support them, and I will continue to work with them if they will have me. Chris, thank you. I appreciate that. Yes, Tom, at the door. Matt says, we will be there. Him and Rachel will be there. Hey, Ken. Gave my knife as a surprise present to a first responder and a good hunt and fishing trapping buddy of Jason's. He was so surprised and so happy. Just seemed like the right thing to do. He plans. It just made my night. Mike, you should come up to Sheboygan on the 20th at 5 for the Sturgeon for tomorrow banquet. I would love to, Mike. You know where I will be at 5 o'clock on the 20th? I will be just wrapping up the baby shower for my soon-to-be great-granddaughter. So I don't think I'm going to make it up there. In fact, I almost got in trouble for going to Jay's late that morning to present that check. I said, hun, I'll be out of Jay's by noon. I'll be back in time for the shower. I don't think I'm coming up to Sheboygan at 5 o'clock, Mike. Paul's having some of that king he caught with Captain Doug Ward and Captain Mike Smith. Lisa, reports of bucks showing no fear of humans in Southeast Michigan. That is Southeast Michigan. Yeah, it's a surprise, Art. I've actually, I heard about it yesterday, and it absolutely ruined my day yesterday. Linda, name, title, tenure, Dennis Munchmore is the guy I was thinking of. Dennis Munchmore. Munchmore. Yes, Eichinger, Trotter. Yes, thank you, Linda. Muchmore is the guy. When Muchmore, I thought it was Munchmore. When Muchmore, Munchmore would be kind of weird, wouldn't it? When Dennis Muchmore was the executive director of MUCC is when I first approached MUCC about a partnership, and he shot me down in flames. Dennis, I have a first period hunt in Newberry with Northern Lights Outfitters. You're going to have so much fun. Good luck to you, Dennis. Joe, hey. Corey, hey. Southern Ohio has a bad case of EHD, a bad outbreak of EHD. Northern Kentucky not looking so good. Good evening. Well, Paul, I hope it doesn't affect the golf outing as well. I hope that we can continue the relationship and just move on. Linda, another concern is who else may exit MUCC with Amy's loss. Always a concern. True, Lori. Mad Jack, we listen to Art SDW every day, so I'll be catching you in the morning. Excellent. Scott Hand. Rich Gazan and I could talk about AquaShield whenever it fits. The sooner the better with it happening around the state. You know, I just had Rich on the podcast talking about that, but it might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea to do it next week. Jeff, I appreciate you saying that. He says that you're a huge positive force for Michigan. I respectfully say I think that's an overstatement, but Jeff, I appreciate you saying it. Mike, I need to work on my food plots, not laundry. Stupid rain is keeping him indoors. Rabbit homesteading. Larry says, you know what? It's really none of our business. We always think negative, but hopefully it's good for both. That's a very good point. As I was trying to say earlier, but I don't think I was as eloquent as Larry is. Rabbit homesteading. It really isn't our business. What happened there is between the folks there, Amy, and the powers that be. And that's why when I reached out, people said, all we can say is she's not here. That's all they can say. And I respect that. And that's why I won't say anything more, even if I knew anything more, which I probably don't. Irreplaceable. Steve, Jackie, good evening. Thank you, Mike. Exactly. They say nobody's irreplaceable, right? She is, hey, Patrick, a big MUCC guy. She's a softball mom, isn't she? Dave, we'll see you in West Branch maybe twice this month. Excellent. No, I will not have Amy on now for a couple of reasons. My agreement with MUCC was to have their executive director on. And in addition to that, I'm sure it would be very uncomfortable for Amy to be on with me now. I know I can make a blanket statement, like 99% sure. Amy will not be joining me on any more Wednesday Night Lives, although she would be more than welcome. Exactly. Thoughts and prayers with Amy and everybody at MUCC. Ooh, 6 to 8 hour surgery. That's a big one. Prayers for you, Chris. Elmer, how are things in Petoskey? Probably nice and cool and dark and wet and beautiful. Jerry, good evening. Roger says, buddies in Ohio, EHD. Jim, good evening. Guess what's on Craig's Bear right now? A wolf? Jim says, bingo. He's talking about it's really nobody's business what happened between MUCC and Amy Trotter. The only thing I want to do, and in fact, on this week's, well, I'll get to this in a minute. I talk about it this week on the radio show, but I didn't lead with it because I didn't yet know if I could talk about it. The go-ahead to talk about it came later in the show, and I will explain as we get into the rundown. No, they didn't say, and I don't know the answer to this. I don't know how it happened. The only thing that is official, and the only place it's even being reported is that Amy Trotter is no longer at MUCC. That's all anybody knows outside of the circle that is directly involved, and that's the way it should stay. I just commented that a member of that group, a partner of that group, and a Michigan hunter and angler, I'm sorry to see it happen. Johnny says, nope, it's not a pine marten. Michelle said the question is, what's on Michelle's bait right now, Johnny? Art says, in every cloud there is a silver lining. For Amy, it's an opportunity to serve a new organization, and for MUCC, a chance to seek out leaders as competent as Amy. Art, that's why you are the man that people have looked up to for so many years, because you have the ability to take a situation and very succinctly boil it down to its most cogent pieces. And you just did that right there. He's got a sound 2 Cubs on there. Excellent. Robert, good evening. How are you? Rockford. Hello, Julie. All right, let me talk about a couple of things here because I've talked about too much already. Let me get to this week's show rundown because I have a feeling I'm going to get bogged down in other things too, and I don't want to take this thing too long tonight. My first guest on the radio show this week is Sir Lancelot himself, Lance Valentine of the Walleye Zone, thewalleyezone.com. Boy, that's no headroom at all, is it? Lance talks about a couple of things. Number one, Their fishing education weekend, which he has every year in November, this year is moving from Lake Erie to Saginaw Bay. If you would like information or like to sign up, you can go to the website wzfew.com. That stands for Walleye Zone Fishing Education Weekend.com. wzfew.com. The other thing Lance and I talk about is this, that he is one of our special guests at the Wednesday Night Live at the LumberJack Restaurant in West Branch 3 weeks from tonight. Lance will be there. Andrew Cumptus from Outdoor Driven will be there. We are giving away, I am giving away, a production version of this knife, the Mike Avery signature knife. Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley is giving away a truck trolley. I will have people there from Jay's Sporting Goods. We will have people there from Killer Food Plots. We will have people there from MUCC. We will have people there from one other that I got a mental block. I can't think of who it is. Possibly Brad Dupuis, Mr. Angler Quest. 989-343-0892 for reservations to that event. Then we wrap up the first hour with Michigan's meteorologist Mark Torregrossa, talking about this beautiful weather, how long it's going to last, and what the outlook is for fall and even into winter. In our second hour, Al Stewart joins me. Not the guy who sings Time Traveler or Year of the Cat. Al Stewart, the wildlife biologist. We talk about fall turkey hunting. Then Justin Tomei of MUCC joins me. My question to Justin, my first question was, and Johnny Bowler, listen to this. You've heard talk of some UP politicians saying they want their own Natural Resources Commission specific to the UP. Justin, is there a chance it's going to happen? Justin says, I don't think it's going to happen. Then I say, Justin, I've heard about some things going on with MUCC right now. What can you tell me? And this is the first time it came up in the show, because I knew of things, but I wasn't able to talk about them to this point. And Justin said, all I can tell you, Mike, is I, from MUCC, can confirm that Amy Trotter is no longer here. And then he went on to talk about her leadership and her guidance over the years. Chris Durson then joins me for our Ask Avery question. Good question here. Vern Pratt says, Mike, I got my birthday present early, your signature knife. I love it. So I'm looking for an answer. What blade edge is best for a hunting or outdoor knife? Convex or straight? And Chris Durson of Rapid River gives me the definitive answer during this week's Ask Avery segment. In hour number 3, we're talking with Richard P. Smith about bear hunting in Michigan, and we wrap it all up with wild game chef extraordinaire Dixie Dave Miner, and he has a pickled fish recipe. Now, I didn't realize this when I was putting the rundown together, but the two most recent inductees into the Michigan Outdoor Hall of Fame are Al Stewart and Richard P. Smith, and I have them both on the radio show this week. Okay, let me go back and pick up some of your questions now. The recipe this week is pickled salmon. Dove hunting was awesome. Dove hunting, and you guys have quail there in Kansas. First time I ever saw a quail was in Kansas. Jordan, strong organizations evolve as leaders exit. The question is, can MUCC evolve? I'm hoping and praying they can. I believe they can. Cool weather will bring the salmon into the river. Lots of boat on Little Traverse Bay in the morning. Mike had a 300 or 400 pound black bear on my trail camera a week ago. Walked right up to the camera. I'm not a bear hunter, but I think it would be cool for someone to see if my weight prediction is right. It's very, very hard. Very, very hard to judge bears. There is nothing that has ground shrinkage like a bear. Like if a whitetail walks in front of you, you can immediately judge the size of its rack. Now, you might not be able, I can't, to judge its age. I can tell you if it's 2.5 or older, but, is it a 3.5-year-old deer, 4.5-year-old? I don't know. I've probably never seen one. But you can judge a whitetail by its rack. A bear walks in front of you, and all you have is the size, the shape, the way it moves, the way it behaves, and you have to judge the size of the bear from that. And I find that fascinating. Maybe Amy is being tapped by the feds after her awesome congressional testimony in May about her opening a wolf hunt. Maybe. Jordan, the UPNRC is a DOA issue. I agree. Justin, doesn't matter if you're late, buddy, you're here. That's all that matters. Paul, have a good evening, buddy. Nathan, can we have a North NRC and a South NRC with a cutoff at I-96 too? See, that's the problem. You start to put too fine of a point on things. Yeah. TJ says, I'm ready for colder weather. TJ, I was just thinking, this TJ guy, he's all right. And I'm really enjoying our conversations until you make a comment like this. And I really like the comment about, I'm really ready for the colder weather. And then you go, and you use the 4-letter word. TJ, I'm sorry, but I don't like you anymore. Ed peaked, small 8 point in the camera. All right, Johnny, realize when you text me, I've got some things to take care of, so I might not be able to get back with you right away. Okay, some of the other things I want to talk about, and these are all topics of discussion that I had for the radio show before the official news about Amy Trotter, before I was able to announce the official word about Amy Trotter. Oh, you know how I love the old sayings about the cicadas buzzing in the first frost? Well, the cicadas this year blew it. About 3 weeks after the first cicada buzzed in Gaylord, maybe a month, probably closer to three weeks, Gaylord had frost last week. So that blew the whole cicada theory all to hell, didn't it? Chris says in Kansas, quail and pheasant doesn't open until November 10th, which I'm waiting to run my dog. Excellent. Pheasant hunting with dogs is a riot. That's what I grew up doing. Salmon fishing. Everybody I know and have talked to who has taken part of the West Michigan, East Side, Lake Michigan salmon fishing season said it's been world class. One of the best anybody can remember. Not necessarily big fish, but large numbers of good fish. All right, Johnny, appreciate that. Okay, 2 events. Well, 3. Friday, the day after tomorrow, I will be in West Branch at the Forward Corporation facility, the gas station LumberJack. I'm not sure what time yet, to help Forward Corporation celebrate their 100th anniversary. Saturday, September 20th, I will be at Jay's Sporting Goods in Clare, along with Chris Durson of Rapid River Knives, as we present a check to Andrew Cumptus of Outdoor Driven, the first installment of their proceeds from the Mike Avery signature knife. And then, of course, the big event, 3 weeks from tonight, we will be live at the LumberJack Restaurant in West Branch for a Wednesday night live. Reservations are filling up nicely, but we still have room for you. Call 989-343-0892 to make your reservations. Lance Valentine of the Walleye Zone is going to be there. Andrew Cumptus of Outdoor Driven is going to be there. Steve Wyndham of MUCC. Bill Hahn of Jay's Sporting Goods. Rich and Ellie Krazan of Killer Food Plots. Andy Weiss of Truck Trolley. Maybe Brad Dupuis of Angler Quest Boats. We're giving away a truck trolley. We are giving away a production version of the Mike Avery signature knife, as well as some other cool things too. But you can't win those things if you don't join us. 989-343-0892. Aditya, well, happy Wednesday, but happy anniversary to you and Shelby. Aditya is my son-in-law, and it was 2 years ago today that they got married, and now they've given us beautiful Bob, also known as Bodie, my 5th grandchild. So happy Wednesday to you, Aditya, and happy anniversary. Okay. All right, let me do this.
Stories and laughter keep us beguiled. Every fish that you catch, every heart you embrace, brings us closer to nature's grace.
Is that for the Trinity dinner, Johnny? Is that for the Trinity dinner? Thank you so very much. I'm not going to announce this, but thank you so very much. All All right, my friends, thanks for joining me on this edition of Wednesday Night Live. Again, this whole Amy Trotter MUCC thing, right? It's none of our business exactly what happened. I only reported it because I think we should know. I wish Amy nothing but the best. I wish MUCC nothing but the best. And I hope to continue to work with MUCC, and I hope to continue to work with Amy wherever she ends up. All right, my friends, have a great night. We'll talk to you next time right here on Wednesday Night Live.